Hi, welcome to the first installment about ffmpeg. This is sort of a missing manual type of tutorial. This is advanced ffmpeg, so if you need introductory material, this is probably not the place for you. So here we are on the main ffmpeg site. Click over here on documentation. You'll get to this page. ffmpeg all. ffmpeg all is kind of a good place just to know that it exists. What you want to do is you want to make a shortcut which points to ffmpeg documentation. So this here gets to the main ffmpeg doc. And then you also want to create a shortcut for filters. So when I click on filters, you'll get this URL, ffmpeg.org/ffmpeg-filters.html. This is the page that I use most often. The way this is organized is it talks about the audio filters first. I just do a search for the filter that I want, and then I just click on the overlay here. So I'll go to the top and look for scale, resize the input video. This talks about the width and the height and the size here. So what you really want to do is just hop down to the examples, because the rest is just written in Geek. So for instance here, scale equals 200 by 100, or better yet, scale equals 200:100. The confusing part then follows. It then talks about commands. This filter supports the following commands. Well, just ignore it. Every now and then online I see some information about some command line switches, or command line options as I prefer to call them. So I have a shortcut here for FF options. The way to create this shortcut is to look for main options. So I'll tell you how to find that. You click on documentation in the ffmpeg site, click on ffmpeg all. Then do a search for main options. If you look here, there's some very interesting command line options here. I find that I use main options the most, and video options, and then a couple of other things just below it. Some of the rest of the stuff that are surrounding this is not interesting at all. This tells you all of the command line options that you tend to use the most. So let's have a look at it. Main options. So if you use ffmpeg-f format, it forces the format of usually the output file. -i URL, -y overwrite the output file without asking. -codec, or what I prefer to do is just use -c:\v for the video codec, -c:\a for the audio codec. -t duration, -2, -ss, these are things you're probably familiar of. If you're online and somebody says -s, which is an option you should never use anymore, it's deprecated, you can go here, and if it's not in the main options, it might be in the video options. So look here, -s size sets the frame size. It says as an output option, this inserts the scale video filter. Please use the scale filter directly to insert it, etc. Shows you that you shouldn't use the -s option. One other source of documentation is the wiki. Here's the URL, track.ffmpeg.org/wiki. This is also hard to navigate, but what you want to do is scroll way down past the geek stuff. Forget this stuff. H.264 encoding guide might be useful. These other codecs, useless, but you want to really start about here. And filtering. This is not a very organized set of documentation. It just is basically a cookbook, a collection of tips. But there's some good stuff in there, so if you're interested, have a look in there. I would go to filtering guide maybe. There's some stuff in here that you never would have known that ffmpeg was capable of. Like for instance, these images here were generated by ffmpeg. So what they are is they're videos that ffmpeg can generate. I think that's the -f lav fi that's actually creating these videos. What does the ffmpeg command line really consist of? And this is an advanced ffmpeg command line. This will tell you everything you need to know about what the command line really is about, things that you probably never knew about. This comes from slhck.info/ffmpeg-encoding-course. And it's by this wonderful person here, who seems to have a lot of information online about ffmpeg, talking about ffmpeg in a very advanced way. This is what you want to take note of. The general syntax of ffmpeg is ffmpeg followed by global options, followed by input options for the upcoming input item, followed by a -i, the input item, followed by input options, followed by -i, input item, followed by input options, followed by -i, followed by input item, where multiple input items, of course, are optional. Then output options, and then output. Off the top of my head, the only output option I can think of that I use all the time is -y, which means overwrite whatever the output specifier is. You'll see me referring back to this several times, and you will see global options in operation during this tutorial in future segments. So that concludes today's episode. Click like if you like. Thanks for watching. Bye.